Time for today's arts and culture feature. Gerry Dee has been making people laugh professionally for more than 20 years. The stand-up comic is best known for his hilarious sitcom, Mr. D, which ran for 8 seasons on CBC. He also hosts the TV game show Family Feud Canada, also on CBC. And he's brought his humor to sports reporting. He's an accomplished producer, director, and writer. Gerry Dee is bringing his Best Medicine stand-up tour to Alberta this month, and I'm happy to say that he joins us now to tell us a little bit about it. Hello, Gerry.
How are you?
I'm great. Thanks again for taking the time to talk to us today here on CKUA.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Well, this is your first cross-Canada stand-up tour in a while, since the pandemic, I imagine. Are you a bit nervous, or were you a bit nervous to get back to the stage?
No, not nervous. No, excited. I was doing some shows virtually. That wasn't fun. So to have a live audience, I think people are ready to laugh again and get back out, and it's been great. So these are the last 2 dates of my tour. Sorry, I'm lying. I have 1 date in Glace Bay, Nova Scotia at the end of June. But, it's been a great tour, and I always love coming to Alberta, and it's just, I was just there yesterday. I got back. My daughter plays volleyball, and they hosted the Nationals. So I'm going back on Friday. I just got home yesterday. So
right.
I'm out in Calgary a few times this week.
Oh, excellent. What is your favorite thing about Calgary, about Alberta?
I don't get to spend enough time in these towns, like when I go, or these cities. And I think, but Alberta, I've got a few places there I go to that, I catch up with some old friends. And that's always fun when I have people in the town. The crowds in Alberta have always been very supportive of me. And I remember Calgary and Edmonton, the response was great. So that's always a plus when I go out there.
Right. Now, as I mentioned, you've been doing this for at least 2 decades. What jokes do you find connect with people the most?
I think anything relatable. I don't drift too far off topic. I kind of just talk about my life, which is probably a lot similar to their lives, so they can relate. And I think that's the stuff that works the best.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there are so many styles of stand-up too. You're pretty self-deprecating and observational. You were fairly clean, as I remember. And was that the style that you were always comfortable with, or did you ever want to be, Sam Kinison or Andrew Dice Clay going back in time?
No, that was always the style. I'd say I've gotten a little bit edgier, but I don't really get dirty. I might swear once in a while, but it is pretty clean. I'm proud of that. I started that way, but with that said, it doesn't mean bring a 10-year-old. I sometimes get that, and it's not the Wiggles, right? So it's I kind of think if you're in high school, you're okay.
Right. Now, you've done TV and film, as I mentioned before, but what does stand-up with a live audience offer you that maybe TV doesn't?
Well, you hear the feedback right away. That's the best part. That's the rush of comedy and comedians is that, you wrote something, you deliver it, and then you see if it works. And when it works, that is a rush, the whole crowd laughing. So it doesn't always work that way. It doesn't work that way the whole, hour or hour and 15 minutes you perform. But that's the part that's the best about it. The other part that's not like TV, that's not the best, is you're kind of alone. You're kind of nobody to feed off of. There's no team. So I always said the TV world was my team sport and the stand-up was my individual sport, similar to the way I grew up playing sports. And I love them both equally.
Was stand-up comedy your first love?
Well, I think my first love when I go way back was sitcoms, like watching, I was a huge SCTV fan and Michael J. Fox on Family Ties and John Ritter on Three's Company. I mean, that's what I grew up with. And I love that. And I didn't follow stand-up comedians. I followed those people and those actors and actresses. So that was what attracted me to comedy. The stand-up came later when I'm like, okay, how do I do what those people did? Well, there's one other way to do it is you start in stand-up, like Ray Romano and Jerry Seinfeld, Brent Butt, and you see if you can maybe get known as a stand-up and try to bring that to TV. And I was very fortunate to do that with Mr. D, and I'm very lucky to be in that position. And but that was how it started for me with sitcoms.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes comedians have only just done comedy, and you've done sports. You were a teacher for a while. How has that helped kind of give you a leg up in comedy?
I think it's just it prepares you for everything else that goes on in the entertainment business, right? So, I was in the real world. I had something to talk about when I started. I started stand-up at 30 years old. That's very old. So had I started at 20, I don't know what I would have talked about. So I think just the life experiences that I had before I started at 30 helped me bring that to the business side of it and to the onstage side of it. And I think that was very helpful.
Right, right. There's been a lot of upheaval in comedy over the past few years. Some people saying comedy is dead. I don't think that's the case, but, maybe it has been changing over the past few years. Where do you think comedy is going?
I hope that's not the case. I think comedy is having a resurgence. When I go out on tour, there's people have had a tough 2-3 years. They're dying to laugh. They're dying for lightheartedness. Like life got real serious there and sad and very sad. So I think sitcoms are tough. They're tough to do. I think we're always trying to figure out as creators of what makes things funny, and that's hard. And that's what you're always trying to figure out. And so sometimes, you get a sitcom that didn't work, and those are people you lost thinking, comedy, that wasn't funny. But it's really hard. It's really hard to make a sitcom. It's really hard to be funny every 15 seconds or whatever is expected of you on stage or on TV. So I think it's the toughest medium in entertainment. I think it is nothing harder than trying to make people laugh. I mean, to make people cry, that's easy to do, right? There's sadness is easy to bring. Laughter's hard. So, we're starting to get more comics on television, and we need to do a better job of that in Canada. We need to highlight comedians better in Canada. It's a growing sort of thing that we're always trying to work on.
Right, right. Well, lastly, what are you working on these days?
Right now, I'm just wrapping up on a book. So that'll come out October 17th, called Funny You Should Say That. So I'm just finishing that. And Family Feud Canada starts in August for season 5. I'm on a sitcom that just got renewed. So we'll see. Wait and see if I'm back. We'll wait and see what my role is, if there is one there. So
is that animal?
A few things on the horizon. Animal Control, yeah.
Right.
That was season 1 we just finished. So a few things on the horizon, a few things about to start, and lots of unknowns in this business, which is sometimes the fun side of it too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. That sounds great. You're keeping busy. And again, you'll be in Alberta later this week.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you both, Calgary and Edmonton. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Gerry. That was comedian Gerry Dee. His Best Medicine stand-up tour stops in at the Jack Singer Concert Hall in Calgary on May 19th, and then the Winspear Centre in Edmonton on May 20th. For Calgary tickets, go to artscommons.ca, and for Edmonton, go to winspearcentre.com.